Hello, my friends. This is the Art of Prepping. Hope you guys are doing good today. So, what are the cost advantages of buying the right gear once? And for our example here today, we're going to be looking at plate carriers. A lot of people know what a plate carrier is. For those who don't, it's basically a type of vest that will hold ballistic inserts. And there's a lot of people here on the channel that have these. It's fairly common, in various parts of the world. Here in the U.S., I think everybody I know has one. So it's just something that you can put on your person to protect you from, various threats, bullets, shrapnel, things like that. And so when we look at, a plate carrier, and the cost advantages of buying the right one, what would those be? First, of course, you're going to be satisfied with the purchase, right? You're going to be proud of it, and you're going to have something that's very usable. You don't have to worry about issues that a lower quality plate carrier would have. And then it's going to be a lot cheaper, right, than buying several subpar plate carriers and then eventually getting the plate carrier of choice that you really want and need. So let's just do some real quick math. Let's say that you start out with a really cheap plate carrier at $20 and then it falls apart a year later. And then you buy a $45 plate carrier and it lasts you a couple of years, but it falls apart. And so you're already $65 in the hole. And then you actually buy the one that you really should have bought in the very beginning, and that's $100. So you're $165 in the hole, to get to that point versus just $100 just to buy the plate carrier that you really know that you really wanted and needed to begin with. So it really pays just to go ahead and just buy the quality first, than to try to nickel and dime yourself, with subpar things. Because if you're like me, eventually you're going to upgrade to the best. It just takes time, but eventually you're going to get there. And so instead of trying to do all these upgrades, just go ahead, of course, when it's practical. Not always is it practical to do this, but when it is practical, just go ahead and get the best to begin with and not have to go through all these different levels to get there. And so, of course, when you get what you really want the first time around, it's a lot, less wasted time and energy. Think about all the time that it takes to research stuff. And it's exhausting trying to be, cheap, in life. And so, just researching things, buying the products and all that. It's a lot of time that can be wasted if you don't buy the right gear first. And of course, you have a lot longer shelf life or just life cycle of your product and a lot less hassle when you buy the right piece of gear the first time around. And of course, another cost advantage would be that you don't have that poor mentality. Like, when you look at your own stuff and if you feel like, your gear is really so subpar that you're just a poor person, that's not a really good thing. That's kind of a psychological indicator that you're probably not doing what you need to do. So you don't want that mentality. Even if you're on a really tight budget, you don't have to have really low grade stuff. You don't really have to, settle for that. And so that's the thing. You don't really want to settle for just the lowest grade stuff. Now, some people would argue that some stuff is better than no stuff. And I could probably understand that. That's understandable to some degree. But for the average person, it's more about how can I save more? It's the process of saving that's really the problem. And it's not really that there's a cash flow problem. It's just that what you do with your money and how can you minimize some of that daily spending so that you can have a little bit more to buy what you really want and need. And so for the bulk of people, I got some tips here that it's going to probably help you to acquire what you really want and need. And so let's just look at this. Number one, to be patient, right? Really have some patience. Now, the older I get, it seems like I'm less and less patient. I'm not sure why that is, but I used to be a very patient person, but I'm working on that again. I'm trying to become a lot more patient. And one of the ways that you can practice patience is to save consistently and just be consistent overall in your life. So if you're looking at a $100 plate carrier, that's just an example, a $100 plate carrier, what you can do, for example, this is just one of many ways, but you can, save or, set aside $20 a week. And of course, simple math would say after 5 weeks, right? 5 weeks, you're done. You have the money to get that plate carrier. So you could just do something like that, just incrementally save, and eventually you'll get there. Number 2, go without to bolster your savings. And so, there are so many people that I know that spend $3, $4, $5 on a coffee every morning or a latte or whatever it is that you have. Do you really need that every day? What about skipping a meal? It really doesn't hurt you. In fact, there's actually some health benefits of skipping a meal every once in a while. What about staying home, every once in a while? Maybe like once a month that you don't leave the house on the weekend. And what you do is you're saving money on gas. And you can take that savings that you would have spent on gas driving around to places that you really don't need to go, and you can put it toward your future purchase. Number 3, research heavily before making, quote unquote, the purchase, right? Really know what's available out there. And so when you know all of your options, it allows you to make the best decisions. And that goes for anything. It is so amazing when you are aware of what your options are, of how you decide. And you might be blown away. You might choose something totally different than what you thought that you needed or wanted, because you really learn, of what is out there for one, but also you kind of become educated on what you really need versus what you thought you needed. Sometimes we think we have it figured out until you look and you're like, whoa, I didn't know that was even an option. That kind of is a game changer, really. And that's happened to me a number of times. Also, number 4 here is to get hands-on experience with the products that you're, deciding to possibly make a purchase of. And so the decisions are a lot easier to solidify when you've had, hands-on experience, when you know that it really is good to go. And that also can go a long way to motivate you to save more aggressively for those purchases. When you have that motivation because you have dirt time with those products, you've been out there in the field and you've used them and you're like, wow, I really like that. Maybe you have a friend, for example, that has a certain type of plate carrier that you really like, but it's going to cost you a little bit. But maybe you borrow that plate carrier and you go out in the field over a weekend and you use it, and you get kind of a good feeling about, okay, that this is what you really, should purchase. That can go a long way though, right? To motivate you to save more aggressively. Number 5, wait for sales, wait for coupons. This is something that I try to do, almost religiously. Like I almost never want to buy anything at regular price. It doesn't even make sense, right? Just wait. Sometimes it's just you wait a couple of days or wait a few weeks. And there's typically with most companies, some type of incentive to buy, some type of sale, clearance, coupon, some type of deal. At the very least, wait until a big national holiday, and they typically will have something, right? Most stores have something for the holidays. And so deals can save you big money. And so let's just take super simple math here of 20% off of $200. That's $40. That's a $40 savings. Who would not want that? And it's not that uncommon to see 10, 20, even 25% off sales. And so 25% off of $200 is $50. So I'm just saying it can add up. Savings can add up from deals. And so don't skip that. don't just be in such a rush to buy something that you pay top dollar for it. And there are situations, though, that if you can get whatever you're looking for, that is maybe like secondhand. And what I mean by that is like it's been lightly used. Maybe someone bought it, they used it once or twice, and they found something else, but it's the product is in very good, almost new condition. That could be something right there that could save you big money. And there's a lot of people who will sell it to you for dirt cheap price just because they want to get rid of it and put money toward the one that they want, that they found, that to replace that. So these are just some different ideas, just different thoughts of cost advantages, when you buy the right gear once. Thanks for checking the video out. I'll catch you later.